Hello everyone, Philippator here, and welcome to another exciting episode of Total War Rome 2. In this battle, I am bringing Pontus, and my opponent is a fellow named Poccopacs, who is bringing the Arevaci. Now, Poccopacs and I recently fought in the Wars of the Ancients tournament, hosted by Maximus Decimus Meridius, and he was able to beat me in both of our matches, but at one point he said that our matches were pretty close, which I think is kind of an overstatement, and you'll see why after this battle. Now, I brought a bit of a fun army. I brought 5 Pontic swordsmen, 3 Levy pikemen, a mercenary Celtic warriors, 2 mercenary naked swords, 3 Pontic royal cavalry, a scythe chariots, and then 3 mercenary Scythian horse archers. Meanwhile, Poccopacs has brought this. It is 3 Iberian slingers, 3 Balearic slingers, 6 Iberian swordsmen, and 6 noble cavalry. And you'll notice, I'm going to hit play, and you'll notice he's kind of split his forces up into 3 different groups. Oops, nope, go back. And I might keep it in this view for a while. It helps you see what's going on. Now, Poccopacs' micro is exceptionally good, and it has to be in order to use this type of an army. You're not going to be able to win fighting face-to-face. You have to rely on these slingers to fire their stones, get the kills, and then if the enemy gets too close, the noble cavalry can rush in and save the day while the slingers retreat. Basically, it's an army of patience. I only have 3 royal cavalry. It's not going to be anywhere near enough to catch all of these slingers and to fight off the noble cav. And so again, it's a game of patience. It's can Poccopacs pull back his men in one side? Let's see, I can actually use color. So, for example, this group can pull back, this group can come in, this group can come around the back. Later on, the center group or the right-hand group can retreat if need be. But can he keep his men alive and out of the range of my own army? I decide that if I have any chance of winning this, I need to defeat each part of the army individually. So I'm going to go for the right flank first. Not 100% sure why. I think it's just because these Cantabrian cavalry were in the way, and so I was coming after them. And I think my plan right now is to get my cavalry going up against the right group, while my infantry squares up against the front group, and I'm going to pause it, because right about here you can see he's pulling his men backwards. Oops, red. Pulling his men backwards to keep them out of the way of my own army. And I think, yep, he's doing the same on this side again, pulling everybody out of the way, while the right-hand group comes around to serve it around. And it's at this point of the battle that I know I've lost. I know that he has the micro in order to keep control of all of his different groups. I know he has the patience to pull his groups out of the way and not let them get killed, to slowly rack up kills with his slingers. I know I don't stand a prayer. I don't have a prayer of winning this battle. I am going to get a pretty good charge off on my my Pontic Royal Cavalry. So, not so bad. But of course, this is against Iberian Spearmen. Cantabrian Cavalry and Balearics are going to kill off this Pontic Royal Cavalry. But I'm so desperate to tie down something, anything, to keep him from retreating. But of course, at this point, I know I'm not going to stand a chance. Charge coming in on the Noble Cavalry against Mercenary Naked Swords. I'm popping, what is this? Popping Frenzy. Of course, it's not going to do anything. My Noble Cavalry are dead, but my Scythian Horse Archers are pouring in the fire. Noble Cavalry are going to take some losses. Like 3. He's keeping his center and right groups at a decent distance, and at this point I'm going to take my entire army and just rush after the right-hand group. Let's see how this unfolds up here. So yeah, so you can see everybody is coming this way, while meanwhile his other 2 groups are coming in to deal damage. And now, if I had planned for this, if I had known this was coming, if I had brought maybe a more hoplite-strong army, an army with more cavalry, an army with more armor on their troops, this could have ended a little bit differently. I probably still would have lost, but, I might have stood a chance. I know I'm kind of giving away the ending here, but I think it's obvious that he's going to win. Maybe if I had brought a Boii sword rush, or maybe a Galatian sword rush with their more heavily armored troops, again, could have stood a good chance. As it is, not so much. Royal Cavalry coming in against these Iberian Spearmen. They're going to die. But again, the Noble Cav are able to rush through and tie down my men, and can allow his slingers to continue to fire. Let's see, what are the kills like on these guys? 0. And 0. As I'm sitting here gushing about how great my opponent is, he's not necessarily doing that good. Part of the problem is, you know, I can't have any way to attack these noble cavalry. Pontic swordsmen are simply not going to do the trick. Mercenary naked swords certainly not going to beat royal cavalry. And my scythe chariots, there's no real way for them to win. I had planned on him bringing, say, Iberian swordsmen or Scutarii or maybe painted ones, at which point my chariots could have won by themselves. As it is, it's not going to happen. My horse archers are getting caught by his noble cavalry. Let's see, 68 kills on these guys, 22 on the general, 32 on these guys. And yeah, the slingers, sure they're throwing stones, and they're not actually doing a whole lot. It's going to be something that happens over time. My general is going to catch this noble cavalry on the hoof, and I think I'm going to get a charge off. Alright, lance is down at the last second. That's a halfway decent charge. See, noble cavalry down to 15, 14. Yep, they're going to rout. But now what am I supposed to do? I have a unit of Pontic Royal Cav with 8 men, and my general and some horse archers. How on earth am I supposed to catch these fast-moving slingers and these noble cavalry? Again, if I had planned for this, it would have been a little bit different. But there's no way that naked swords and pikemen are going to do anything against a slinger-based army. It's simply not going to happen. So at this point, I'm weighing my options. I am pulling all of my men back. Yes, I admit I'm a little bit redline camping. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. It was cruel and unusual. But I'm pulling my men back, trying to get them into thin lines, trying to assess the situation. On the one hand, I want to keep my men thinly spread out, so that the slingers don't do as much damage. And let's see. Yeah, only 6 and 9 kills on these two. On the other hand, if my men are in these nice long thin lines, it's going to present wonderful targets for his cavalry. They'll charge in, they'll take out an entire unit on the charge, and then my Pontic swordsmen, which are kind of the backbone of the army, they won't even be useful at that point. Let's see, I only had 8 men here on that royal cavalry, so I charged in against the Iberian spearmen. Nope, didn't get a single kill. Now that my men are more or less in line, I'm going to charge out again. My Scythian horse archers got too close to the Balearic slingers. They're going to be taken out. I don't know, I don't think they got any kills themselves. Maybe one. Looks like one poor Balearic got hit by an arrow. I don't think... Yep, I mean, these guys aren't even bloodied. Just, what a mess. What an absolute mess this was. Bringing my chariots in, thinking maybe I can catch this group on the left. But, of course, Poccopacs is going to bring in his noble cavalry, catch my chariots on the move. And it looks like none of them are going to die from that charge, but they're going to get bogged down. There they go. Between getting bogged down by the horses and caught by the spearmen, these chariots are not going to make it. My general gets into some slingers, basic Iberian slingers, but then my general is countercharged by the noble cavalry general, bringing in some Pontic swordsmen to try and save my own general. It's not looking particularly good. See, I think Balearic slingers, yep, they're lining up to fire. Let's see. That's a reasonable picture. And look, these Iberian slingers are even going to survive. This is absurd. Again, I keep reiterating this, but I really don't have a chance of winning this battle. I've never played against this type of army, and although I've seen people beat it, and although I'm able to win minor little victories, where my cavalry are able to catch his slingers on the move, Yeah. Again, maybe, after practicing against this a little bit, sure, we'll come back in a couple of weeks and see how I'm doing. Of course, at that point, Attila will be out, and so no one will be watching this. You will all be off playing Attila. Anyways. But yeah, give it a couple of weeks of practice, and you too could beat this army. But this is the first time I've seen it. I'm completely flabbergasted. No real comprehension of what I need to do to win, other than keep pushing, keep trying to catch his men on the move, and just pray, I guess. Noble cavalry coming in. They're going to get a charge off against my general. They're going to kill off this. Looks like some of my Scythians are going to get out. But second charge is going to come in, decimate my royal cavalry. That's the end of my general, and pretty much the end of this flank. Let's see. Pontic swordsmen, I tried to brace them, but the noble cavalry are going to get in and do lots of damage. And of course, now that I'm chasing again, slingers are going to pick apart my swordsmen. Looks like some Celtic warriors got some javelins off and killed about three noble cavalry, which of course is nothing. Infantry in the center continuing to push back the skirmishers, but at this point I have no cavalry left on the field. I have no way of even getting close to the slingers, much less beating them. Yeah. This is just going to be another minute and a half of him winning. Here's a small little victory. Noble cavalry getting caught on some pikes. Even though my pikes are shaken, they're going to get a couple of poke kills. Good job, pikemen. Poke, 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 maybe. That's not going so well. Anyways, where else? Spearmen got caught on my Celtic warriors and my swordsmen. Not going to end well for them. But these noble cavalry, even though I tried to brace my Pontic swordsmen, doesn't really matter. And now all Poccopacs has to do is simply pull out on the other direction. If any of you are wondering, this map is Mons Regius. It reminds me of one of my favorite maps from Rome 2. I think it was called Roman Villa. I kind of like the buildings in the middle. You know, we've all complained about how the maps in multiplayer are not the best. I like this map because it's nice and flat. It's got a little bit of trees, a little bit of buildings. It's just a little bit of variety. I would definitely recommend playing on this one if you're given the chance. Yes, I suppose somebody could hill camp up here, but all in all, I really like this map, and I'm going to start using it a lot more in my battles. Noble cavalry getting a rear charge on my Pontic swordsmen, and they're going to rout pretty much as soon as the cavalry connect. That's that. Who's left? Nobody. No one is left. So, a fantastic game to my opponent. As I said at the beginning of the battle, suggesting that the two of us are similar in skill is just ludicrous. My army did pretty much squat. My chariots were able to get into some slingers and get a couple of nice kills. My Pontic Royal Cavalry were able to get some kills on these weak Iberian spearmen. But my swordsmen, running all over the field, getting themselves tired out, getting themselves killed off by the noble cavalry. Same with my pikemen and my mercenaries. Whereas, as I keep reiterating, all Poccopacs has to do, pull his slingers back, be patient, target units effectively, and then, if he needs to, rush in with the noble cavalry to save his army. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I've kind of just been gushing about how great Poccopacs' build was. And that's, in the end of the day, I was outplayed, I was outmatched, I was outpicked, I was out everything. So, even though I got absolutely crushed, it was a lot of fun playing this battle. Again, I'm really having fun meeting some of the higher quality players in multiplayer, playing them, beating them, or even losing them. It's always a lot of fun. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to go find some more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.